Tulsi Gabbard has launched a $50 million lawsuit against Hillary Clinton for defamation because Hillary Clinton alluded in a podcast that Tulsi Gabbard was an asset of the Russians. What makes this story so absolutely insane is the weird background to how the media tried to cover up for Hillary Clinton after she insinuated Tulsi Gabbard was a Russian asset. Right now, the big defense from all the Democrats is, but Hillary never said Tulsi's name. I think it's really funny. So many blue checkmark verified resistance members are defending Hillary Clinton. They didn't actually read Gabbard's press release or lawsuit, which clearly outlines the smear, why it was about her, and how you can tell it's about her. But I tell you this, man, this sets Tulsi Gabbard well apart from Bernie Sanders, who won't even defend his own supporters. Tulsi Gabbard, she won't back down. She called Hillary Clinton she called her the personification of rot and a warmonger, among other things. Hillary Clinton, comes out, or actually, I think it was Hillary Clinton came out first, insinuated that Tulsi Gabbard was a Russian asset. Tulsi fired back immediately. Look at what Bernie Sanders did the other day. I know I'm rehashing this, but I just want to go through real quick. Bernie's own campaign sent out an email calling Joe Biden corrupt. Bernie's supporters then tweeted in his defense. Bernie then apologized to Joe Biden, basically like knifing in the back his own supporters. But anyway, this story is about Tulsi Gabbard. So I got a bunch of stuff I want to go through here. I got Tulsi Gabbard's statement. But what's really funny about this is that in the lawsuit from Tulsi Gabbard, there are several swipes at Hillary, like basically poking her over her failures. It's kind of, man, Tulsi is brave. Let's read the story from Fox News. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There's a PayPal option, a crypto option, a physical address. The best thing you can do, however, share this video. YouTube's algorithm is knocking down my channel. It's recommending everyone to Fox News, who I'm reading. Surprise, surprise. But they're really trying to, I don't know what their intention is, but it's negatively impacting my channel, other political commentators. If you like what I do, sharing this video helps overcome those burdens. But let's read the news. Gabbard hits Clinton with $50 million defamation lawsuit over Russian asset remarks. Fox reports. Democratic presidential candidate Rep. Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii is accusing former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton of deliberately spreading false accusations that Gabbard is a Russian asset in a lawsuit seeking upwards of $50 million in damages. Tulsi doesn't back down, dude. I don't know what's going on with the Google lawsuit, but after Google, for some reason, removed her from search, I'm sorry, that wasn't it. That was a different case with Crowder. Google suspended her ad account at one of the most critical times. That's crazy to me. This is election rigging, but Tulsi sued Google. And that's what I think, we really do need. I got to be honest. We need in a president someone who refuses to back down. Now, I'll be fair and think Trump, of all people, refuses to back down. That's obvious. But look at Bernie. Look at all the other Democrats. No way. Tulsi's got toughness in spades, they say. During an October 2019 interview with the podcast Campaign HQ with David Plouffe, Clinton suggested the 2020 presidential candidate was, quote, the favorite of the Russians and a Russian asset. Gabbard insists these statements have no grounds in reality and that Clinton knew or should have known this at the time. Quote, rather than facts or reliable evidence, Clinton's basis for the defamatory statements was one or both of A, her own imagination, or B, extremely dubious conspiracy theories that any reasonable person, and especially Clinton, a former U.S. Senator and Secretary of State, would know to be fanciful, wholly unverified, and inherently and objectively unreliable, said the lawsuit filed Wednesday in Manhattan federal court. Clinton did not specifically name Gabbard in her remarks, but strongly implied she was referring to her. The complaint points out that when asked if she was referring to Gabbard, Clinton's spokesman Nick Merrill responded, if the nesting doll fits. He actually went on, they say, a reference to Russian dolls. So all of these Democrats are popping up saying, well, Hillary never mentioned Tulsi Gabbard's name. That's a huge error. You know what's crazy to me? One of these individuals is like a Young Turks personality that's supposed to be working in media. I'm not going to necessarily call them journalists, but you'd think the first thing you would do is read Tulsi's lawsuit, which specifically outlines how she was identified. Someone responded with a link to the Student Press Law Center saying, here's the what you need for a libel suit or defamation, and you don't need to say someone's name. If you can reasonably identify someone, then you're gonna get, you will get sued for defamation or libel. They say Gabbard's complaint states in no uncertain terms that Tulsi is not a Russian asset, and that neither Russia nor anyone else controls her or her presidential campaign. To the contrary, it plays up her history of public service, from her time in the Army National Guard to her 4 terms as a U.S. Congresswoman. Citing her roles on House committees and in the military, the complaint points out that Gabbard has never had her security clearances challenged or revoked, and claims that Clinton was aware that if Gabbard was really a Russian asset, she would not have been able to serve in these positions, which provide her access to highly sensitive and classified information. Okay, I do have to go over this, and I will. But after Hillary said this, the New York Times, I tweeted about it, subtly, they stealth edited their article, meaning they made changes without telling anybody, and changed Russian to Republican asset. And then all of a sudden, a wave of press were saying, no, Hillary was saying she's a favorite of the Republicans, not the Russians. You know why that's so creepy? Because Hillary Clinton's spokesperson said, if the nesting doll fits. That's a reference to Russia. But all of a sudden, the news outlets were claiming Hillary Clinton was saying Republicans. Why was all of the media ready to jump at the calls of Hillary Clinton's campaign when they reached out? So I think it was actually the same spokesman who reached out and said, no, she said Republican. And then all of a sudden, all the media outlets were like, okay, and changed the news based on what Hillary Clinton wanted. That is creepy. Let's read more. They say, as for why Clinton would make such statements, Gabbard claims Clinton has a unique personal connection to Tulsi that animates her hostility towards Tulsi and her presidential campaign. The lawsuit claims that this stems from when Gabbard supported Bernie Sanders in the 2016 Democratic primary. Gabbard, who was once the vice chair of the Democratic National Committee at the time, was the most high-profile member of Congress to support Sanders as he ran against Clinton. Gabbard was like the up-and-coming golden child of the Democrats. They wanted her to be a prominent figure in the DNC, and Gabbard said no, resigned her position, and endorsed Bernie Sanders. Now, for all I've ragged on Bernie for, I believe Tulsi has shown incredible integrity to stick to her principles and do the right thing. I disagree with her on standing with Bernie at this point because Bernie won't even stand with his own supporters. That's a whole other thing. Quote, Clinton was extremely angry, to put it mildly, that Tulsi endorsed Senator Sanders over her, the lawsuit says. Citing communications Gabbard claims she received from Clinton's representative saying that her team, quote, no longer trusts Tulsi's judgment. Gabbard also alleges that she was told, quote, that the Clinton team would never forget this slight. The complaint states that agents for Clinton let Gabbard know they would not assist Gabbard in her campaigns. These agents then forwarded this correspondence to Huma Abedin, Clinton's closest aide, and John Podesta, chairman of Clinton 2016's presidential campaign, to gloat about the beatdown they felt they delivered on Tulsi, writing, hammer dropped, the complaint says. One would expect someone of Mrs. Clinton's political background to act with a greater level of maturity and dignity, but her personal hostility toward Rep. Gabbard apparently clouded Mrs. Clinton's reason and blinded her to U.S. defamation laws, Gabbard's attorney Brian Dunn said in a statement. What's really crazy about this is that right now everyone's saying vote blue no matter who, except Tulsi, which is the craziest thing. There was I think Samantha Bee on Full Frontal did a bit where she was like, come on, we got to stand with all the Democrats unless it's Tulsi Gabbard. And it's like, whoa, man, whoa. And I think I know what it is. Tulsi slighted Hillary Clinton. Bernie bent the knee and cowered like a pathetic little loser. Oh, yeah, I'm dragging Bernie hard over his pathetic endorsement of Hillary Clinton. Now, I ragged on Bernie for coming out and campaigning for and endorsing Hillary Clinton after so many people stood behind him when Bernie himself said she was unfit. We had an expectation of integrity from Bernie. And you know what? I was willing to forgive that. But now we can see that he won't even defend his own supporters with Joe Biden, being accused of corruption. And what happens? Hillary Clinton is now coming after Bernie, saying nobody likes him. And she's even alluding to the fact that, to the possibility, she would not endorse or campaign for Bernie should he get the nomination. Hillary Clinton is absolutely not a vote blue no matter who. That's what the Democrats are saying. No matter who it is, you just got to support him. Hillary Clinton doesn't think so. She'll go after any progressive who dares slight her. They say Clinton spokesperson Nick Merrill responded to the lawsuit, telling Fox News, quote, that's ridiculous. Gabbard claims that she and her campaign were substantially harmed by Clinton's statements, citing opinion surveys that showed that millions of Americans believed Clinton, including people in key primary states. The result, the lawsuit says, is that Gabbard has lost potential donors and voters with damages estimated to exceed $50 million. In addition to those damages, Gabbard is seeking special and punitive damages in view of Clinton's malicious and unrepentant conduct. She also seeks litigation costs and an injunction against further publication of the defamatory statements. Gabbard has hovered in the low single digits in national polls since the start, of the 2020 presidential race. So I have the statement pulled up from Tulsi Gabbard, and it basically rehashes the same thing. I'm not going to read through it, but she does point out that Nick Merrill said, I believe it's in here, that he said if the nesting doll fits. Actually, I'll just do a quick search to make sure that's in here. Otherwise, okay. So no, the nesting doll comment is not in the press release, but in the actual file for the actual document, they actually do point out that Nick Merrill specified. So this is the big argument from Democrats, and I'll show you in a second. It says, Section 19, the next day, October 18th, Clinton doubled down on the defamatory statements. A CNN reporter asked Clinton's official spokesman, Nick Merrill, whether the defamatory statements were about Tulsi. Clinton's spokesman responded, quote, "If the nesting doll fits." He continued, "This is not some outlandish claim. This is reality." Section 20 says Clinton's reference to the nesting doll is a reference to the universally known Russian nesting dolls. Matryoshka dolls, what they're called. And then they go on to say that it harmed her. They say Clinton's defamatory statements immediately harmed Tulsi, despite reprobation of Clinton by several Democratic 2020 candidates, including Bernie Sanders, Marianne Williamson, Andrew Yang, for her baseless conspiracy mongering. Clinton's defamatory statements spread like wildfire across the internet, took on a life of their own. And now, even on Twitter, you know, this is really funny. I think it's hilarious how Bernie Sanders supporters, Hillary supporters, don't seem to understand how they prove the points of the critics. First, to drag Bernie a little bit again. Bernie Sanders staffers, now two of them, Iowa and South Carolina, exposed by Veritas, saying really, really shocking, violent, offensive things. The response from Bernie's fans on Twitter is to downplay and say, oh, who cares? Oh, it's nothing. What they don't realize is that each and every one of those tweets is proof. Or I shouldn't say proof, but it shows that Sanders supporters don't care about extremist rhetoric. I assure you, or I shouldn't say this, but I believe it's possible and likely that should Bernie win the nomination, and he now is the frontrunner, my understanding, at least in one poll, the Republicans are going to show all of these tweets, and they're going to say something like, when Bernie Sanders staffers said extremist rhetoric and were called out, Sanders voters and supporters defended the comments, and they'll show a big wall of tweets. And all of these people on Twitter don't realize they're contributing. Now, the reason I bring this up, Tulsi is alleging that by calling her a Russian asset, Hillary Clinton defamed her and caused problems. And now on Twitter, Tulsi and Gabbard are trending. And what is everyone saying? All of these pro-Hillary stands, they're saying Gabbard is a Russian asset. Bravo, fans of Hillary. You have absolutely just proven Tulsi Gabbard's case. That when Hillary came out and said this, they all believed it, and now they keep saying it again. And each and every one of those tweets, I assure you, okay, I believe would be probable, that Tulsi's legal team will collect them and say, look at all these responses. This is all the evidence we needed. That Hillary Clinton, they're saying things like Hillary Clinton was right. Tulsi is a Russian asset, and this lawsuit proves it. Now Tulsi's going to say, see, they're specifically citing Hillary Clinton, saying she's an asset. But check this out. This is the most mind-numbing thing to me. This is Emma Vigeland. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Clinton's accusations were moronic, but she didn't mention Gabbard by name. Might be a problem for Gabbard's case. What a stupid lawsuit, an embarrassing attention grab. Hillary's spokesperson confirmed it, says Michael Tracy. How hard is it to actually read the lawsuit before reporting on it? This is what's really crazy to me. All of these people jumping out and saying things, they didn't actually read Tulsi's argument. This is the left in a nutshell. And this is the big problem I see. I'll tell you this. We learned, I think it was on the Sam Harris podcast, Jack Dorsey said, left-wing journalists only follow left-wing journalists, but conservative journalists follow both sides. This is the differentiation between the two narratives you see. A willingness to read everything and understand what's happening before commenting, and those who just jump on the bandwagon without actually doing any actual journalistic work. Even if they're not journalists, I get it. Is this so this woman, Emma, is a correspondent and producer. I believe she has a professional obligation to actually read the argument. Dude, I pulled up Fox News. Even Fox News pointed out the argument is that Hillary Clinton made the accusation and her spokesman confirmed it. But here's where it gets really, really crazy. This is where things go conspiracy. No, I'm kidding. It's not conspiracy. It's basically the media is willing to bend over backwards for the Democrats. Check this out from Market Watch. Turns out Hillary Clinton said Republicans, not Russians, were grooming Tulsi Gabbard. Oh, is that what it was? It was the Republicans. That's why Hillary Clinton's spokesperson said, if the nesting doll fits. No, I'll tell you what I think happened. I could be wrong about my timeline, but I think it was, they said the next day. I kind of feel like the moment Hillary said it and it went viral, I remember this, it was a crazy day. I feel like Nick Merrill immediately said Republican. I don't care about when or why, but why would he say if the nesting doll fits either before or after? Regardless of when he said it. Why would he make the insinuation about Russians and Tulsi Gabbard? Doesn't seem to make sense. But what is crazy is how all these news outlets immediately ran the narrative. Oh, no. Hillary Clinton clarified to us. Let me tell you something crazy. I don't know if you've seen the documentary Hoaxed by Mike Cernovich, but there was this really great segment where Mike Cernovich is being interviewed by, I think, Scott Pelley of PBS. Again, could be wrong, but basically he's asked, why did you run a story claiming Hillary Clinton was sick? And Mike says something like, we talked to a doctor who said, based on what he saw, Hillary Clinton was sick. Scott Pelley says, I believe it's Scott Pelley, no, that's fake news. And Mike's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And then Mike says, how do you know Hillary Clinton's not sick? And the journalist says, well, we asked the Clinton campaign and she told us. And he goes, why would you believe them? And then the journalist like drops his glasses like, if I say something and then you just go to the Hillary Clinton campaign and ask her and she tells you, here's what it really is. And you say, okay, what? That's not how journalism works. If you see videos of Hillary Clinton collapsing in the street and being thrown into a van, being dragged into a van, and then someone says, I believe that woman is sick, a reasonable person would conclude it looks like she's sick. But then these journalists go to Hillary and say, ma'am, are you sick? And she goes, no. And they say, okay, good enough for me. Did you even ask why she's collapsing on there's so much footage of Hillary collapsing. There's footage of her like being lifted upstairs into cars. And the media said, well, but Hillary says she's not sick, therefore she's not. It's a conspiracy theory. I'll tell you what, man. It was absolutely creepy when I saw the New York Times change Russian to Republican. They didn't, look at this. Market Watch actually says, it turns out here's what really happened. No, the New York Times just quietly changed the word without saying anything. And I'm like, dude, everyone knows what Hillary was talking about. She was talking about a favorite of the Russians, not the Republicans. This seemed to be like a quick shift trying to defend Hillary because she sounded like a lunatic claiming that Tulsi was a Russian asset. So anyway, you get the point, right? I've got a bunch of people saying, well, that's a good one. Clinton Spock's Nick Merrill responds. Okay, I guess I don't have a bunch of the responses. I thought I pulled it, but here's a really good take from, this is Razor on Twitter. He says, Hillary is positive that Tulsi Gabbard takes orders from Putin, but had no idea about Harvey Weinstein after all that time with him at fundraisers. That's really funny, isn't it? So that I have to point this out too. But before we get to this next tweet, I just want to mention Hillary Clinton was surrounded by a bunch of extremely dangerous individuals that are now being exposed. Tulsi Gabbard is not one of them. Tulsi Gabbard is a decorated, dare I say, American hero. She's a major in the National Guard who served as a I believe she was a combat medic in the Middle East. Like, that is extremely estimable. That is an incredible. I have tremendous respect for Tulsi Gabbard. And the fact that she's willing to stand up for herself and fight back, 100%. So of all of the seedy, creepy individuals that are in the DNC, Tulsi is like not one of them at all. Of course, now you've got people smearing her, but check this out. First, Michael Malice, you glorious, glorious troll. I'm sorry, I must do this. I know you're joking. I know the tweet is hilarious, and I hate to be someone to fact check a joke, but I got to do it, man. Michael Malice, you guys might know, check him out. He's a really, really funny guy. I've been on a show before. He said the strangest part of the Tulsi v. Hillary filing by far. Now, Michael is a comedian, troll, commentator, and in his tweet, there's a section that says Tulsi Gabbard is a natural person who is a citizen and domiciliary of the state of Hawaii. She has never experienced, does not currently experience, and does not expect to experience thoughts of, I'm just going to say self-harm, if you get the point. Got to be careful about how I speak on YouTube. This is a joke. It is not in the actual lawsuit. I caught that right away. I saw this, I started laughing. I'm like, Michael's a funny guy. He trolls people. I'm sorry to fact check a joke, man. I have to do it, though. Too many people think it's real. Too many people think it's real. And I'm going, no. Seeing, I'm not going to name anybody, but I sent out some tweets like, hey, just so you know, this is not, it's not real. He got you. He trolled you. But a lot of people do think it's real because it's funny. But, I will add, as much as it is a funny joke, it's kind of scary to me how plausible it sounds. You know why? There's this guy who's, I believe his name is Richard Epstein. I could be getting his name wrong. But he called out Google saying they were swinging votes for Hillary Clinton. And he just experienced a serious tragedy. He said, he tweeted something out similar to this message. So people really do have this fear that, if you cross the Clintons. So this is a joke from Michael Malice, but people think it's real, man. So it's not, Michael was joking. Okay. But I got to hand it to him. Michael is Mike, whatever your name, however I call you. Really good troll. These things, he always nails people. They really fall for this stuff. So, but I do have one more story. Well, actually, I have two more stories to go through real quickly. This one's hilarious. Trevor Noah, excellent spot here. Trevor Noah drags Hillary Clinton for slamming Bernie Sanders. This is not the time to reopen old wounds. I know this is more about the Bernie thing, but I have to bring this up because Trevor Noah makes an excellent point about how Hillary is going after Democrats. Okay, listen. I have no problem slamming any and all Democrats. So I'll give Hillary a pass on that one. I sit here claiming like I want Andrew Yang. I want a Democratic candidate. I like Tulsi Gabbard, but then I rag on the Democrats all day and night. So who am I to criticize Hillary Clinton when she slams Bernie or Tulsi? Fair. I recognize that. But here's what Trevor Noah said. This is hilarious. He says, Hillary, what are you doing? This election is just about to begin and you're coming out throwing punches. This is not the time to reopen old wounds. You can just say, as Democrats, we always support our nominee and then go home and punch that bag you have with Bernie's face on it. What does that even mean? Hillary won't support Bernie. So if he's the nominee, who else is she going to campaign for? Trump? Actually, I'd love to see that. I won't lie. That would be amazing if Trump was just up there like, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend Crooked Hillary. Hillary comes out and goes, hello, everybody. Lock me up. That was great. I laughed a lot when I heard that. Trevor Noah, that's a really great joke. It's a good point, though. Like, what's Hillary going to do? She going to come out and campaign for Trump? That's never going to happen. Bernie is, in my opinion, going to get the nomination. I really do think so. Things are turning in his favor. He's raising way more money, but we will see. We'll see if the establishment cheats. But what is Hillary going to do if Bernie does? I'm abstaining from an endorsement this time. All right, go for it. But I do have one last story. I'm not going to give this one too much credit, but let me just stress, the Russia narrative will not cease. This is from the New York Mag. Jonathan Chait, the guy who claimed that Donald Trump may have been an asset of Russia since the 1980s. Trump and Russia are colluding in Ukraine for profit and political gain. I kid you not. This article, well, let me refresh it to get the actual date because I opened it yesterday. I think it's from yesterday. This is from January 21st, just the other day. They are still running new stories claiming Trump is colluding with Russia. Trump and Russia are colluding. That's the headline. I can't believe we're still here, man. Welcome to 2020, where we're going to play 2019 and repeat. Or as some people have said, 2020, 2019 2, Russian Boogaloo. Like, here we go, man. It's not 2020. It's actually 2019 part 2. And then I have this one last tweet from Josh Hawley. He says, so far in impeachment, this much is clear. Dems are not ready to try their case, totally unprepared. And 2, this is still all about the Russia hoax. Dems repeatedly refer to Trump cheating to win 2016. Memo to Dems. He was elected by the people. That's called democracy. Here we are. Tulsi Gabbard is a Russian asset. Trump is a Russian asset. That's what they keep saying. And of course, it's not true. It's an insane conspiracy. But the New York Mag just wrote a story the other day saying it all over again. I'm going to tell you something. Do you when it comes to voting for somebody, I like Andrew Yang. He says we shouldn't blame Trump for all of our problems. The Democrats can't blame Trump. You can't be too focused on impeachment. I think Yang's doing the right thing. But I'll tell you this, man. My vote is based on policy and integrity. Okay? The Democrats have neither. They have some of the policies I like, but I'm sitting here staring at lunatics who are taking a debunked conspiracy theory and screeching into the wind. Where is anyone to tell them to stop? Yeah, I don't know. When Republicans go too far, they get destroyed in the press. When the Democrats go too far, nobody bats an eye. So now you have insane Democrats like Hillary Clinton screeching about Russian meddling and, Tulsi Gabbard, all that stuff. Then quickly trying to, her spokesman tries to change the subject. But you have the New York Mag just the other day claiming Trump is colluding with Russia. Okay. Look, man, here's the thing. You will never get me to vote for a Republican simply because the Democrats are terrible. All right. My vote is based on policy and integrity. But I'll tell you this. If you expect me to vote Democrat, you would be insane, okay? However, I have to clarify that. That's a blanket statement. I would absolutely vote for Andrew Yang. I would absolutely do so. And Tulsi Gabbard as well. Tulsi's fallen to my close second now. She used to be my number one choice because of foreign policy. But I think because Trump is going to win and you can't stop him, what we need is Andrew Yang to be debating Donald Trump. I really do think so. So I think it would be a great service to America if Yang was on stage having a real conversation about American issues, because he seems to be the only one willing to do it. Tulsi talks about foreign policy and she's very tough. But at this point, I think getting Yang on the stage to have that debate. So I'll tell you this. I don't care about Democrat or Republican. I really, really don't. I care if I agree with you. So I'll tell you this. Rand Paul is awesome. I disagree with him on a lot of policy stuff. Go figure. So I disagree with Tulsi on a lot of stuff too. I don't care about parties. I care about integrity. I like Dan Crenshaw. I like Rand Paul. I like Tulsi Gabbard. And who else do we have on the Democrat side? I think basically Andrew Yang. But he's not really a Democrat, right? There's probably some other people I could give a shout out to. Jeff Van Drew, mad props. I don't care if he's a Republican or a Democrat. The dude has shown integrity and a willingness to stand up for himself. Bravo, good sir. I actually think there's a few more Republicans I like more personally than Democrats. I think I just made that clear, right? But when it comes to policy, I lean left on these issues. So you're not going to see me going and voting red just because I'm like, I don't like Democrats. It's never going to happen. So call me dumb, call me all the names in the book. That's fine. My policy positions are more about, are more center left. But I think it's fair to say the Democrats at this point are nuts. Like most of them. Obviously, Tulsi and Yang are good people. But man, and there's a couple people running that I'm interested in, some progressives that are running in primaries. We'll see how that plays out. I'm really scared that if I support some of these progressive candidates, they're going to turn out insane like AOC. So I am concerned about that. But I got to tell you, man, I think these do-nothing Democrats like Pelosi and Nadler, Schiff, Schumer, it's like, dude, they need to go. AOC is not better, though, so we'll see what happens. This is a long video. I'll wrap it up. Thanks for hanging out. Stick around. Next segment's coming up at youtube.com/TimCastNews, 6 p.m., and I will see you all then.